Friday, January 27, 1956 was cold and clear in New York. The headlines were occupied by a twin-engine Lockheed Ventura plane which exploded over Long Island during a test flight. It killed all 3 people on board. The U.S. Court of Appeals upheld the United Automobile Workers' refusal to tell House committee investigators whether fellow unionists had been communists in the distant past. The majority felt it was suspect to assume exposing people to public contempt could serve as an effective legislative method. Grace Kelly announced that she'd stop acting after her marriage to Prince Rainier of Monaco. Her last film, High Society, would premiere on July 17th.
Well, today we're going to explain to you how to put down a linoleum floor.
Hey, good idea. You know, more and more people now are finding both economical and a good deal of fun attached to doing things themselves. Doing things with their hands, particularly you men who spend all week using your squashes.
It's great relaxation to do some manual labor after a week of mental processes, and
I myself like to get down to a boatyard on the weekend and help bring in these old tubs and scrape the barnacles off the bottom and to paint the thing and everything.
That's right.
Now, Bob here is an expert at linoleum. What do you call it? Linoleum laying? Is that the...
Well, yes, I suppose you could call it that. Application.
The CBS Radio Workshop wasn't the only notable programming airing on the evening of January 27th. At 5 p.m. from Mutual's WOR, the comedic duo of Bob Elliott and Ray Goulding signed on. They first appeared on radio in 1946 for WHDH in Boston. In July of 1951, they joined NBC's full network. They had 2 shows, one a daily morning, and the other a 60-minute primetime show. But NBC bounced both programs around its schedule, and the shows had mediocre success.
Would you hand me an army blanket?
Yeah, here's the one. No.
They next appeared on Saturday mornings for NBC's Monitor, and in October of 1955 they joined Mutual for a 45-minute weekday disc jockey series. They mixed comedic spoofs around musical numbers. The show would air until September 20th, 1957.
No, it's 25 feet.
12 and 13 at 25.
Well, which would be the
Put the
center,
chart
12
mark
or
right there.
13?
Doesn't make any difference, either one.
Could be 10 or 15, too. Smart, Alec.
Yeah, 10 and 15.
Okay, well, I'll make the center of the floor 10.
Uh-huh. Now the other
Oh,
way.
there it goes again. Look, these are too... Hey, you know, kind of think of it, you're not doing any work, are you? I mean, I don't notice one little
I'm
drop
directing,
of
all right?
perspiration on your forehead.
But look, it's this manual labor that brushes away all the cares of mental work during the week.
A fiery horse with the speed of light, a clot of dust, and a hearty Hi-Yo Silver, the Lone Ranger.
By January of 1956, The Lone Ranger was airing in repeats over NBC at 5:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Brace Beamer starred with John Todd as Tonto. Fred Foy announced. A simultaneous hit TV series was airing on ABC. It starred Clayton Moore and was also announced by Fred Foy. The final radio repeat aired on May 25th, 1956. The last new episode of the original TV series aired on September 12th, 1957.
What were your credentials before you started writing One Man's Family, or to write that? What did you do before that? You were a young man at the time?
Well, the show started in 32. I was a young man at 31. I had been a newspaper man, both in Sacramento, on the old Union, which Bret Hart and Mark Twain contributed to. And then I came down and was on the copy desk of the San Francisco Chronicle for 3-4 years. And then I went to Seattle, on the Seattle Times. It was up there when we heard our first radio. It wasn't a show, it was a boxing championship, and I've forgotten who was fighting. But came back to San Francisco, and newspapers were folding awfully fast. So a friend of mine had a job over at NBC, and I went over and was taken on a week-by-week basis to see what I could do. I had written columns for papers, but I had done nothing in a dramatic form at all.
One Man's Family, of course, was probably the longest-running serial drama on radio. When was the first broadcast?
In 1932, in April of 1932. It ran about 27 and a half years.
One Man's Family, winner of 42 national awards, a Carlton E. Morse creation.
One Man's Family had been on the air since April of 1932, spanning nearly the entire history of network radio.
One Man's Family, now in its 25th year, is dedicated to the mothers and fathers of the younger generation and to their bewildering offspring.
It was the first show to speak frankly of the Kinsey Report on the diversity of sexual orientation, and one of the last to make the old-fashioned farmer seem contemporary. When Standard Brands dropped it in 1949, 75,000 letters flooded NBC in its support. It was reorganized as a quarter-hour serial on June 5, 1950. This episode aired at 7:45 p.m. Eastern over NBC.
The tall north windows are open.
So, having heard the step squeak at 5:45 this morning, Paul, I know exactly how much sleep you've had, which isn't enough for anybody.
And therefore I deserve the tray?
Mother thought so. Lift the lid there and see what you have.
Aha! Scrambled eggs and my favorite sausages. Oh, no, not scones.
And wild blackberry jam from the Sky Ranch.
Good, good. Now, what's this about Cousin Consider? I talked to Joan this morning. She says he's flown back to Hawaii.
Yes, and he forgot to sign his new will, you know.
Oh?
Utterly forgot it. Pinky sent it on to him, care of the Surfrider Hotel. We hope he's going back to the Surfrider. Anyway, Pinky mailed it in spite of the fact that he's now cut off with $1. Oh, I'm so proud of Pinky, I could be insufferable.
Don't blame you.
Uncle Paul, are you decent?
Come on up, Joan. He's having breakfast.
Hi there.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you said you'd be dressed and downstairs.
They decided to spoil me with a tray this morning.
And I'll bet you deserve it. Ooh, scones, too. How about a bite?
Here, open.
I'll go get you some of your own.
Oh, no thanks, Aunt Hazel. I've had breakfast. Oh, isn't it a glorious day? What's everybody going to do?
Well, I'm going to phone Pinky, and if he isn't busy, I shall go in town and see if he'll take me to lunch. He needs cheering up.
He must feel terribly bewildered, because I know for a fact that CZ simply adores him.
Pinky's punch drunk. That's the only word to describe it.
One Man's Family would air until May 8, 1959, with Father Barber still brooding over the troubles of his grandson, Pinky. It was the end of a 27-year slice of life.
Any notion what he was doing to him. He was just trying everything he could think of to get a traveling companion.
Pinky made a very odd remark to me the other night.
Huh?
He said if he ever disappeared, to tell Greta he loved her more than he was ever able to say.
Disappear? That's an odd word to use.
During the Johnny Dollar days, which we recorded out here in Hollywood, Bob McKenney for a long time was my engineer. Excellent engineer. Do you know Bob? We did not edit those tapes. We recorded the show just as though they were live. A few actors resented this in the very beginning, but most of them got to like it because it got much, much better performances. If we got a third of the way through a program and somebody fluffed, we went back to the beginning, started all over again. But as I say, it got good performances because everybody was on his toes. As a result, we had no editing problems on the Johnny Dollar show.
From Hollywood, it's time now for Johnny Dollar.
This is Dr. Gorey. You left word for me to call?
Yes. Wonder if I could see you sometime today, Doctor.
What about?
About the Abbott matter.
No. I'm kind of busy today. I talked to you once, Mr. Dollar. What else can I say to you?
That's up to you, Doctor. Entirely up to you. I can tell you this. I have reason not to believe what you said before.
Now, look here, young man.
I have reason to believe that Duke Red wasn't destroyed exactly the way it was reported.
I'm not going to listen to any tall tales about a horse.
Then maybe you'll listen to one about a man.
What?
Thomas Warner, Duke Red's trainer, is missing. I've turned the matter over to the police.
Oh.
Yeah. How about it, Dr. Gorey? Do we talk?
All right, Mr. Dollar.
At 8:15 p.m. Eastern Time over CBS, yours truly, Johnny Dollar, took to the air from KNX in Hollywood, starring Bob Bailey and directed by Jack Johnstone. It was the final episode of the 5-part Duke Red matter.
Yours truly, Johnny Dollar.
Dollar had been brought in by Niles Pearson of the Universal Adjustment Bureau. A prized racehorse, Duke Red, had been euthanized under suspicious circumstances.
Expense account submitted by Special Investigator Johnny Dollar. Location, San Pietro, California. To the Universal Adjustment Bureau, Universal Building, Hartford, Connecticut. The following is an accounting of expenditures during my investigation of the Duke Red matter. Expense account item 8, 90 cents. Breakfast for me and coffee for Constable Tad Polk, San Pietro Police Department.
Yes, sir. I'm glad we could get together this morning, Mr. Dollar. You know, I thought a long time about you reporting Tom Warner missing.
Well, maybe I'm worried for nothing. But I do know I don't like the circumstances of his disappearance.
You using me, Mr. Dollar?
What?
You know I got a police force of 4 men. We can't conduct any sizable investigation into a disappearance. Just aren't equipped for it.
I thought it might be something like that.
I don't want to be spending civic money to satisfy some doubts in the mind of your organization. It's not my province, Mr. Dollar.
Look, the man's missing. Nobody knows where he is. He didn't leave a trace. He did leave a month's pay behind him. He left after an argument with Abbott. Nobody saw him leave that farm, Constable. No one knows where he is now.
Now, just hold on to your britches, boy. I didn't say I wouldn't do anything about it.
Huh?
I'm going out and have a talk with Ben Abbott, Mr. Dollar. I've known him for a long time. Think maybe I can find out something about this. We'll see what happens there first, then make some plans.
That sounds fair enough, Constable.
Where can I get in touch with you in case I have to?
I'm going over to see Dr. Gorey this morning. After that, I'll be at my hotel.
Fine. Dollar?
Yeah?
You think something might have happened to Tom Warner?
Yeah, Constable. I sure do. Expense account item 9, $2.50. One long-distance phone call to Hartford. I explained the matter of Tom Warner and requested Niles Pearson to have a man in Baltimore start checking with Warner's parents there in the event some lead as to his whereabouts might turn up there. After that, I drove out to see Dr. Gorey, veterinarian.
You know, you have a way of not being very nice on the telephone. What is it now, Mr. Dollar?
I just talked to my home office in Hartford, Dr. Gorey. They aren't very happy with the way this case has been going.
They're too bad about them in Hartford. How does it affect me?
Well, they're just about at the point where they might close it and call me back home.
All this fuss, and they're going to pay the claim?
No, not at all. I don't mean they're going to pay at all.
What?
They can do one of two things. They can appeal to the Insurance Commission for a judgment. They'd have a point. No reliable or cooperative witnesses saw the accident to the horse or the circumstances of it. What's more, there's no carcass. For all we know, the horse may be down in Mexico.
Now, look
or
here.
They can institute proceedings against Abbott. Charge him with attempt to defraud.
That's ridiculous. Why would a man worth almost $1 million worry about an insurance policy?
Well, of course, it's ridiculous to you and me, Doctor. But then legally, it's not ridiculous at all. I can pretty well put some things together. Abbott didn't even want to file a claim for the loss of that horse. As a matter of fact, he fired his office manager, Monroe, for filing the claim. Fired him and paid him a bonus to get out and stay out so Monroe wouldn't have to answer any questions. True?
Possibly.
Abbott blamed the accident on Thomas Warner and fired him, too. Warner hasn't been seen or heard of since.
Now, you said on the phone...
I didn't say it, but I'll say it now. Abbott hated Warner because Warner was seeing his daughter. I'll also say Abbott never struck me as a man who could control his hates.
Tom Warner's nothing to me. I don't know anything about him.
But Ben Abbott is something to you. Now, look, Doctor. I spent some time checking you out because you're one of the parties who can help settle this thing. You've been in practice around here for a good long time. People seem to think a lot of you. I hate to see a nice guy like you get the book. I think I can stop that if you cooperate.
Now, look here.
Forget I'm an insurance investigator. I'm just a guy giving you some information. When I said my company's ready to turn the matter over to the Insurance Commission or file charges, it means that Abbott will have to sue for settlement. And that's just what we'd want him to do. In court, he'd have to produce Thomas Warner and prove his story of the accident. I don't think he can produce Thomas Warner. With what we have so far, Abbott would lose the suit, and the insurance company wouldn't fool around then. There's no outfit tougher than an insurance company when somebody's trying to cheat them, whether it's inadvertent or not. You'd have to be in court, too, Doctor.
Oh.
Do you see what I mean?
Yes.
Well, how about it? Can you give me the real story now?
I've been Ben Abbott's friend for 20 years.
And he asked you to lie for him. That's understandable to me. In a court, though, it's perjury.
What did it do to him?
That's up to the company. I'll have to hear your part of it first.
Duke Red was dead when I got out there that night. Ben had shot him. Duke Red hadn't had any accident. Ben made me promise to tell you that he had. Ben had just shot him.
Shot him? But why?
Duke Red wasn't the horse Ben counted on or thought he was. He had good conformation, but he just wouldn't run. Couldn't run, I think. Ben got mad about that and shot him.
And Tom Warner saw it happen, is that it?
Yeah. Ben told me Warner saw him shoot the horse. He gave Warner some money and told him to go away. I don't know. Ben's losing his mind, I think.
I've heard that about him before.
From who?
His daughter.
Terry. Yeah. Poor Terry. Yes, she'd have reason to say that. Huh? Now what?
I'll have to talk to Abbott.
Sure.
One thing still worries me.
What's that?
I went over his bank record. He paid out money to Monroe, but he didn't pay out anything to Thomas Warner.
He told me that he did.
Okay, then. I'll ask him about that, too.
This critically acclaimed season of Johnny Dollar aired weeknights at 8:15. It is considered some of the most entertaining American dramatic radio of its day. For more information, please listen to Breaking Walls, episode 102.
Already come over the fields. Darkness and loneliness. Hey! Hey in there, open up! Open up! Open up, somebody! Open up!